It's Sunday, the 26th day of August 2018. It is 11:05 Central and 37 seconds. This is an emergency live transmission. Now, ladies and gentlemen, last night Roger Stone had his power and his internet cut off while he had dozens of reporters surrounding his house, including CNN. They told him that his arrest by Robert Mueller was imminent. He's going to have a big update on this and what he calls targeted harassment. I've got the New York Times, the Washington Post, BuzzFeed, you name it, stalking everyone I ever knew or didn't know. There's money being offered by other groups and organizations to make things up. This is getting insane. We have a hysteria by the left, by the globalists, trying to take back this country. We also have John Sidney McCain III dying last night, 3 days short of his 82nd birthday. And we'll get Roger Stone's take on John McCain's passing and the left worshiping him as a God emperor. Just unbelievable. And now attacking Trump because Trump said nice things about him. The response by Hollywood is F you. So we're going to be looking at all of this. The left that hates the military, that hates the American flag, that hates flyover country. Governor Cuomo says that America was never great and will never be great. Their whole religion is America sucks and sell out to China, you name it. So Trump's bringing the country back thanks to all of you out there. It's an amazing time to be alive. But huge news with Roger Stone, who'll also be joining me during the regular radio/TV syndicated program 4 to 6 p.m. today, is here to break down what's happened to him and then tell an amazing story. And, you know, I can attest to this. 3 times I've been with Roger. When we've been having a steak or dinner, when he's here in Austin, or I've been in New York with him, and he's just like I am. I forget to carry a little battery pack charger, so I'm going to give him about 10 of these. Even though I have some in my car, I never do it either. And then by nighttime when I'm out, I'm out doing business or meetings or whatever, my phone runs out. So several times Roger and I have been confronted. In fact, maybe we queued up that 4-minute, the last time we got confronted 2 weeks ago in Austin. I think it's Roger Stone and Alex Jones' statement on we're not going to be violent. I forget the exact name of the video, but the point is that time I had a camera that had power. But it happens all the time where we're out at night, our cameras are dead, our phones are dead, and it happens. He got, just like it's happened to Candace Owens and many others, short of the pitchforks and torches in New York, when he was meeting with a bunch of important folks, when he left the steakhouse, wait till you hear the story how he was chased down the street by people. This has reached a total hysteria level. So we're going to cover all of it right now. Roger Stone of StoneColdTruth.com and Infowars.com. Boy, the heat 72 days out has been turned up on high.
Well, Alex, you called this a couple weeks ago. This is the big event. This is the beginning of the attempted takedown of Donald Trump. It is a soft coup, but it is in full motion. This has been an extraordinary weekend. CNN and other reporters began calling through many of my friends and associates, telling them that my arrest was imminent. I have received, of course, no target letter. Don't believe that to be the case. There is no real crime for which I can be arrested. And a small group of contingent of reporters, including TV cameras, began staking out my house late Friday through yesterday. Even in a driving rain through most of yesterday, a CNN reporter contacted me by text telling me that they thought some action against me was imminent. None of that, of course, has turned out to be true. It is a beautiful Sunday here in South Florida. But what we have seen is an effort to reverse the narrative, despite the fact that we have 4.6% GDP economic growth under this president in the announcements yesterday. There is now a major move to use the conviction of Paul Manafort, the guilty plea of Michael Cohen, to reverse the narrative and a hysteria
that has nothing to do with Russia.
Well, they've even abandoned their Russia.
Oh, even Maddow said last week, she goes, I'm done with Russia. They've now abandoned it for the obstruction and the process stuff.
Right. It's all process related because they have been unable to find any Russian collusion or, on my case, any WikiLeaks collaboration. Somebody named David French writing today in the National Review. Roger Stone apparently had advance notice of the release of John Podesta's emails. No, Mr. Finch, no, I did not, and there is no evidence to the contrary. You have to bastardize one of my tweets to even reach that conclusion. Look, the president needs to recognize what's going on here. The idea that this can wait till after the elections is wrong, is incorrect. He will have less power after the elections, regardless of their outcome. In my opinion, the president needs to move now, today.
Well, let's stop right there because you were going to go. Stop right there. This is the big announcement you were going to make on the show coming up today, 4 to 6 p.m. But I agree, we can't even wait now. Let me call up the actual text here that you sent me a few days ago and the phone conversation that we had, Roger, because you were supposed to be on this week today, but you didn't do it, obviously, because of the McCain announcement. So we need drum roll here. This is a pretty big deal you're about to announce. Your advice to the president, my advice to the president, and yes, folks, we get information to the president, whether you like it or not, whether you ban us off the internet or not. It didn't work. Make the big announcement, the wargaming we had, the decision we made, what we're going to be announcing to everybody right now that I can tell by their actions you agree. They're not waiting for 2020. They're not waiting for impeachment. Even Hayden has come out and said, leave the president alone. You're going to turn the country against you. They had on Bill Maher, the communist, Wahhabist, admitted traitor, Brennan, whose whole creed since college is hating America, saying we're going to use 25th Amendment to take Trump out. They're going to cause civil unrest. They're going to try to crash the market. This is a clear and present danger. They're going to make their move the next 72 days. And I concur with you. You concur with me. We've got a lot of sources. Let's just say patriots in the government who concur. And they're looking for us, for leadership as spokespersons, to stick our heads up and do this. So start over and get into what Roger Stone's advice to the president is, with 72 days left as they try to plunge the economy, as they try to sabotage the nation. What does Roger Stone think the president needs to do right now? Fire Mueller, fire 4 Deep, politically clean house, explain the fake system that Rosenstein put in front of him about changing the succession. It's time to remove the face sucker.
Yeah, it is an evolution in my thinking, as you know, Alex, but I think the time has come. They have made their move, and now the president must make his move. Look, I am accurately reported as having reported here at InfoWars last week that they are seeking to bring some action against Donald Trump Jr., someone I like and have huge respect for because, like his father, he's got big cojones.
And 2 days after it all broke, I mean, get into that. They're now saying, yes, they're going to indict him. So this is a constitutional crisis. How would they dare try to destroy an economy exploding? I'm sorry. It's just lay out the facts first and then what you think the response will be. Because even like Hayden said, you remove Trump when he's riding high like this is dangerous. I mean, even from their, if I war game from their perspective, Roger, I'm going to give you the floor. In fact, I'm going to walk in the control room. I'm going to interrupt. You've got 5 minutes right now. I'm going to have to leave the control room, okay, because this is so upsetting. Lay all this out.
Sure. First of all, I think it's important to note, and I've reported this previously at InfoWars, but it got no pickup from the mainstream media, that even prior to the appointment of Mueller by Rod Rosenstein in this matter, the acting attorney general, he and then White House Chief of Staff Reince Priebus put a piece of paper in front of the president for his signature, telling him it was a housekeeping matter, which changed the line of succession, the transfer of power at the Justice Department under this president. So after Attorney General Sessions, power then flows to Deputy Attorney General Rosenstein. Then instead of flowing to the Solicitor General, who has always been third in command under previous administrations, it goes to a U.S. attorney in Texas, then a U.S. attorney in D.C., and then a U.S. attorney in North Carolina. Now, not surprisingly, those 3 individuals are reliable deep state Bush Republicans. So the president may, to clean house at his own Justice Department and to get control of this rogue investigation, which is most interested in the activities of Mr. Cohn, but has no interest in the activities of Hillary Clinton laundering money through a law firm to pay for the fake dossier that is then used as the illegitimate basis for surveillance of the Trump campaign, the president may have to fire 4 Deep into his Justice Department. If he has to do so, then do so. So I believe it is now time for the president to discharge Mr. Sessions, Mr. Rosenstein, and yes, Mr. Mueller. He has demonstrated that the special counsel's investigation is a one-sided partisan witch hunt. Where is the investigation into the illicit funding of the dossier? Where is the investigation into the use of the dossier by Bruce Ohr and others in the Trump Justice Department to justify the illegal surveillance of the Trump campaign? They have no interest in these larger, far more egregious constitutional issues. Now, in the case of Michael Cohen, they're interested in what I think was probably actually a legal procedure. Donald Trump is allowed to make contributions to his own campaign without limitation. If Mr. Cohen was reimbursed, and he was, then at worst, what you have is an unreported contribution. Under the federal election law, that hardly rises to the level of impeachment, but it is being ginned up in the media.
Yeah, let's be clear. Obama had $84 million of money not properly accounted for. He got a $374,000 fine. So if you basically per capita that, we're talking about maybe a $5,000, $10,000 fine for the president.
Right. So in all honesty, some will say, well, Stone, the special prosecutor's investigating you, so your advice is self-serving. Maybe so, but I want to preserve this presidency, and I want to preserve the economic surge that we are experiencing. When the president said last week that if he's removed, the markets will crash, he is correct. The recovery will be over. We'll return to the globalist economic policy that brought this country.
And that's my next question. What is the calculus of the leftists and Mueller with all their true Russiagate corruption to cover their own butt? They'll never get away with imploding the economy once they take over. I mean, they're not looking a few steps ahead. I think Hayden, you can pull the article up, Hayden says impeaching Trump is a mistake, don't do it. I think they understand. He said, you know, half the voters will tear the country apart. He understands as a survivor. And he said Brennan is out of control and needs to stop. I think they finally know we have him in checkmate. So, and they know, Hayden knows that Trump's a pragmatist and will leave him alone if they actually surrender and just let the country be great. But no.
The president's advisors are giving him bad news when they say, wait until after the election. That is, in my opinion, an error. We have no idea what will come out of the election. It is still up for grabs. Here's what I'm saying, Alex. Make your move. Terminate those who are violating the Constitution. The idea that Mueller's appointment is constitutional because he has oversight is mooted by the fact that the two people with oversight, the president and Rod Rosenstein, are both, at a minimum, witnesses in that investigation or subjects in the Mueller investigation, and therefore, thus, are conflicted.
But Roger, let's bring in the big enchilada here. To have Senator Grassley, and to have Senator Graham come out and say Trump has a right to fire him and should, in the last 48 hours with no coverage, has panicked the deep state. They're green-lighting Trump to go ahead and fire him, which shows they've read the tea leaves. Lindsey Graham is a complete establishment guy. The fact that they're green-lighting that in their own words shows it's time for Trump to move.
I couldn't agree more, but here's the most important thing, Alex. Make this election a referendum on your actions. Take action. Terminate those who seek to undo the results of the last election in violation of the Constitution, and then take your case to the people. Let's fight it out in this election on this issue. With a surging economy, jobs, and prosperity as the subtext, the president will win that showdown. Look, yesterday, an extraordinary CNN interview. They go to northeastern Pennsylvania. They interview voters, a majority of whom are Democrats, a majority of whom say they voted for Barack Obama twice, and every one of them says, no, I like Trump. Leave Trump alone. We have jobs again. The country is ready for this. The president should take his case directly to the people, take action, and then let's stage the election around that action. We can defend what we are doing. No, we are stopping a coup d'etat. That would be the president's defense.
Well, you're going to be on with me today, 4 to 6 p.m., and I want you to just say this in like 3-4 minutes so I can put a promo out on the internet, because what you're saying is true. And I want you to just stop again, because I've not been interrupting, but I'm excited I'm jumping in. Recap all that in 3-4 minutes, Roger, because that's why they want you shut down. That's why they want InfoWars shut down. They know we helped win the 2016 election. So by suing us and attacking us and lying about us, they make us respond to that instead of digging up their corruption and exposing what they're doing. But that's only made us bigger now, where even though they're suppressing us online, now whatever I say, to people close to the president, and the president is now instantly grabbed and instantly looked at even more. So spend a few before you recap this on that. I mean, the InfoWars was big, but Hillary decided to run against Trump on InfoWars. She built us up as this boogeyman. That the evidence shows made Trump even more popular. So they built us up even bigger. Now they believe we're, the ultimate enemy, even beyond Trump. That's blown up. And so now it's gotten to the point where we are as powerful as they claimed we were. They have actually dug the hole for themselves. I want you to recap the fact that Trump must make it about a referendum on the economy and the country and the world, and a referendum on taking action and leadership. Because I went to the mall. I went to Barton Creek Mall like Monday night with my daughters because they'd gone back to school. They wanted some more clothes. And I went to Nordstrom's. I went to Lululemon. I went to a couple other shops. And I'm telling you, Roger, it wasn't like every fifth person shook my hand. Everyone goes, Alex Jones, Black, Hispanic, Asian, Muslims. I went to Lululemon, couldn't shop because everyone wanted a picture. All the workers, gay guys, you name it, liberals. I went to a restaurant that was all liberals. They were like all over us. And they're like, no, we know it's a hoax. We know you're really a libertarian. We know you don't hate us. We've been listening to you for years. And the fact that they're doing this, and they're like, they're all like, they all go, we like Trump. We like, same thing you said about Pennsylvania, is that people get it. And I think that's why the Democrats are so panicked and are going to try to steal this election, is because they know that the realignment has happened, my friend. The realignment has happened, and they are totally panicked.
Alex, you're absolutely right. It's very important to understand that the silencing of InfoWars, the effort to shut us down across all these social media platforms, was the first step in the soft coup. They had to do that before they made their move on Trump. Now they have made their move on Trump. Just do a Google News search and you will see it. Magnifying the conviction of Manafort, which has nothing to do with Trump, and the rolling over of Cohn, which is a weak case, to say the least, something I don't think he would have pled to if he didn't have bank fraud and tax fraud problems and so on. The president needs now to nationalize this question. He should fire Mr. Sessions. He should fire Mr. Rosenstein. He should fire as far deep as he needs to get an attorney general who is both loyal and committed to the rule of law. He then needs to discharge Mr. Mueller because his investigation has been entirely biased and one-sided. He doesn't want to look into the massive corruption of either Obama and Hillary, or their abuse of the process, or their unconstitutional,
or his own uranium tarmac meetings.
Well, he's covering up his own crimes in numerous areas. And then put this before the American people. Make this election a referendum on those actions and on the economy. Now you have something to run on. The Democrats don't really want to run on impeachment because their own polling shows it's a loser.
Roger, you're on fire. Keep going, my friend. I mean, this is such history right now happening. They're clearly in the next 72 days going to make their move. You agree. They're not going to wait till later impeachment. I don't know if you saw Brennan on Bill Maher, but he said 25th Amendment, remove Trump, move on him now. I mean, they're
all predicted right here on InfoWars literally months ago,
by you.
As you know. Look, the deep state is making their move. The surging economy bothers them because they know as the economy gets stronger, it will be much tougher to remove the president. That's why waiting is an error. I think this election has to be about big picture issues.
That's right. Nixon waited till they got him later. He waited. Trump has everybody's support now. He must move decisively now.
I could not agree more because they are moving on his family. Look, it is very interesting to me that in the indictment of Michael Cohen, that the disbursement of the reimbursement, I should say, to Cohen was approved first by Alan Weisselberg, who is a longtime CFO of the Trump Organization, literally the man who knows everything about the president's finances, who's now been given immunity, and a second unidentified executive. Well, I know that with the president and Ivanka leaving the company to public service, that only Donald Jr. and Eric Trump, both good men, have the authority to approve disbursements in addition to Mr. Weisselberg. Therefore, they have the president's son, a great patriot in my view, in their sights. I don't know what other motivation the president needs. This is a soft
Do
coup
what
that has his
must be
family
done,
members.
Lord Vader. Trump has to do what must be done right now.
Absolutely. The time for action is now. The time for words is over.
And let's be clear, this is not 1974. When I was bringing in my mother's milk while she watched the Watergate hearings, and while you were in the middle of it, this is not going to go the way they think. America wants success. They want victory. They see hypocrisy. And I think they have sowed the whirlwind here, Roger.
Here's the difference between 1974 and today. In 1974, there was a monolithic mainstream media that had a complete stranglehold on all political discourse. Today, they would like to return to that, but they've been unable to do so because InfoWars exists, because we are vibrant, because we are out there, because we're reporting this. There is an alternative. Had InfoWars existed in the time of Nixon, his presidency would have survived. He had ended the war in Vietnam. He had reached a strategic arms limitation with the Russians. He had opened the door to China. He had desegregated the schools. He had saved the state of Israel, but nobody was saying those things. And therefore, his presidency was collapsed by the deep state. Now you have an alternative here at InfoWars and at other great conservative and libertarian-oriented sites, which is why they are trying to shut us down. They want to go back to a 1974 type situation in which there is only one monolithic voice, the voice of the mainstream media, which is outrageously distorted.
Well, that's my next question here, Roger. You're back during the 4 to 6 p.m. show. You have, even in mainstream news, secret meetings of the tech giants deciding how to skew the election, calling it information warfare. You've got all this insanity. You've got Google and Apple moving to communist China, helping round up dissidents. The left is not the left anymore, because I was never even a right-winger. They are a group of nihilists that do whatever they want, who are waging war on us, and it's just totally insane. So I'd like you to finish up with talking about this all-in censorship and where you think it's going, A, and then B, let's get into John McCain, because, look, John McCain was a tortured soul, but he was Keating 5, helped fund Al-Qaeda and ISIS. And I don't want to speak ill of the dead. We're not here. But facts are facts. We have to talk about who the compromised individual McCain was. The only Republican in the Keating 5. The Bushes were involved in the SNL $500 billion bailout as well. But the left's worship, and then Trump comes out and says, my deepest condolences, I admire John McCain, your family. The left takes that and goes, F you. There's just no high road with these people, showing they never want to sue for peace. There it is. My deepest sympathies and respect go out to the family of Senator John McCain. Our hearts and prayers are with you. And the response by these people is F you, go to hell, all the rest of it. It's just crazy. So can you speak specifically to John McCain?
Yes, absolutely. Look, it is no secret to anybody watching that I have very deep political disagreements with John McCain, particularly in his role of pushing the fake dossier. But today is not the appropriate day to discuss this. We are Christians, and therefore, may he rest in peace. We wish his family Godspeed. The president could not win on this. If he said nothing, he would have been trashed. If he expressed his condolences, he was trashed. Everybody knows that John McCain and the president did not like each other. Most Americans know that John McCain moved in concert with the Democrats to push forward the phony dossier. But today is a day to respect the president, to respect Senator McCain's public service and to leave political discussions for another day. We are Christians. May he rest in peace. May his eternal soul find peace in the hands of the Lord. I have nothing else to say on the topic today.
Exactly. Okay. I want you 5 more minutes. Give me the floor. You're back in a couple hours. Infowars.com/show. I knew, and it's not about tooting my horn. I could feel it at gut level. When we won the election that night in here at 3 a.m. when it all happened, you're like, God, why aren't you having the next day? And I said, man, they're coming after us. We got to be protected. It's the president to protect us. And you're like, look, he's the president. The country's. No, this isn't like other elections, because this is a real president coming in when they were supposed to end the country under the globalist doctrine. So speak to that and where you see us going. And again, that the critical battle is 2018.
I left out one key point. Prior to the termination of Mr. Mueller and Mr. Rosenstein and Mr. Sessions and whoever else he has to get an honest Justice Department, the president should immediately unilaterally order the complete declassification and release of all of the documents pertaining to the illicit use of FISA warrants. He should also order the complete release of Hillary Clinton's emails. He should also order the complete release of Anthony Weiner's 700,000 emails that we now learn only 3,000 of which have been reviewed. And those were personally selected by Peter Strzok, the man who was running the insurance policy campaign to take down Trump. So take those actions. Let the American people see for themselves what is there, and he would bolster his case enormously. The time
but
for
again,
talk is over.
No, the time for talk is over. So let me start over because I want to give you the floor here. Take 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and lay it all out from front to back. Exactly. They've committed the crimes. They've engaged in it. Trump needs to declassify the proof. He needs to fire these people. He needs to go on a total offense, no holds barred, and devastate them all. Addresses every night the president at 8 o'clock at night and just say, America's under attack. They're in bed with the Chi-Coms, Office of Personnel Management hack, Muslim Brotherhood. I think it's now time, while Trump's got all the juice, before they launch all their fake indictments, to hit them with Zeus-level thunderbolts. So take it all in, what they did, their plan, what they're doing. They plan to take him out before the election, the next 72 days, the final countdown. Roger Stone.
You couldn't have hit it better, Alex. Look, the president has awesome power, and he needs to exercise it. And there are several steps. First, as I said, declassify all the FISA information regarding the spying on his campaign. Let's release it all. No more redactions. Let's see everything. No, there are no national security considerations. That's BS. Release all of the information on Hillary Clinton's emails. Release the emails. Release all of Anthony Weiner's emails, or the emails that Huma Abedin sent to him. Let the American people see all 700,000 of those egregious emails. Then terminate Mr. Mueller, Mr. Sessions, Mr. Rosenstein, and as far deep as he needs to get an attorney general who will prosecute the real criminals. The crime that is hiding in plain sight is the use of this fabricated dossier to illegally justify and rationalize the use of FISA warrants to spy on the Republican candidate for president. That is an abuse of power far worse than Watergate. That is the use of the authority and the extraordinary capability of the state to spy on one of our two major party candidates for president. The real criminals are Bill and Hillary and Barack Obama and their administrations. John Brennan, Susan Rice. This list goes on and on. The president must strike, and he must strike hard now, and then make this election a referendum on his actions. Go to the American people explaining why you have done what you have done and pointing out the complete partisanship of the Mueller investigation, where we're prosecuting Michael Cohen for contrived crimes, but we're ignoring Hillary Clinton's payments and laundering money, campaign money, through a law firm, calling it legal fees when in fact was paid for to compile this phony dossier using Russian intelligence assets. Mr. President, take those actions now and you will save your presidency. Failure to do so will put your presidency in dire jeopardy.
And God has put Trump in because he's willing to execute. I want to be very, very clear on this in closing. The globalists are not going to stop. And when they had hearings a month and a half ago, and the Republican congressman in the Judiciary Committee said, go ahead, your private companies, do whatever you want, even though they're a monopoly, they began censoring all conservatives, including those very congressmen, that next morning with shadow bans. So I want to be clear, I'm a libertarian against regulation, but if the EU and the Chinese and the Democrats are bringing in regulations by threat and by stealth and by fine, our lack of regulation to block the shutdown of free speech is basically tacit approval of that. And so that's why the president and others must move with executive orders and with major actions, as he's already beginning to do, against this censorship with only 72 days out, because this is their attempted takeover. They're going for broke. They are committed. And the fact that the president said, oh, I'm a free marketer, do what you want, left a vacuum for all of this to come in. But the president's in the right. The country's coming back. Everything is aligned. The planets are aligned. Now is the time to stand up for the truth, to stand up for free market, and to stand up against these censors. If the president doesn't do it, he's going to allow them to try to sabotage the economy. He's going to allow them to censor everybody from the New York Post to Prayer University, the StoneColdTruth.com, and put up with that, which makes the president an accomplice to that. So this is the amazing historic point. As soon as Trump began to talk about he might go after Twitter a month ago, is the only reason it's the platform that hasn't banned everybody yet. Only because he showed strength on that issue. He has the Constitution, common law, the economy, the people behind him. But he must act now because they're coming for him and his family, as Roger Stone said. Roger Stone, Infowars.com, Newswars.com. We'll be back in about 4 hours with us with the regular Sunday show, 4 to 6 p.m., StoneColdTruth.com. What an amazing time to be alive. I tell you, I'm not watching football. I'm not watching basketball. I'm not watching Dancing with the Stars. This is a true time to be alive, and we're men in the arena. And I want to encourage all our listeners and viewers, no matter what color you are or where you came from, be part of the arena, because right now this is the historic fight for this country.
Victory or death, Alex. This is it. The survival of InfoWars is inexorably linked to the survival of the Trump presidency. The time for action is now. I look forward to joining you on the regular broadcast later today.
Thank you, Roger. And that's it. We're bound to the president. He's bound to us. He knows that. He's defended us. I'm bound to you. You're bound to me. I'm going to end this transmission for now. John McCain, may your soul rest in peace. I hope, when you face God's judgment, that you're in a better place, Mr. McCain. I can tell you this, though. Hollywood and the whole globalist system and all the big pedophile rings that are being exposed. I see headlines. Jones claims there's vast pedophile rings. Hollywood, the Catholic Church, Penn State. My God, it's everywhere. That's their religion, vampirically feeding on children's energy. And so I'm very pleased to be where I'm at, fighting him. I feel good. I feel like my spirit's in a good place with God. I'm very thankful to all of you, the viewers and listeners. And I just want you to all know the globalists think you're weak. They think you're dumb. But that's just because you're dialed into their fake paradigm. As soon as you dial into the real paradigm, you become empowered. And so please take this live video once it's archived, share it to everybody, upload it to your own channels, cut it up, do whatever you want, put it on Snapchat. I don't care. Just realize you have the power. You are the resistance, and what you do is unstoppable against this technocracy and against these algorithms. So these live feeds, and the one where I eulogized John McCain earlier and talked about his real history, those are on Infowars.com and Newswars.com. And when you financially support us at InfoWarsStore.com, or you go to Infowars.com/app, our apps are #1, but they've delisted them because they want you #1. That's just incredible. And we've got a bunch of discounts on the supplements, the t-shirts, the books. It's how we're here, is you betting on yourself when you bet on us and get great products at the same time. Okay, thanks to the crew. I'll be back in 4 hours and 22 minutes with the Sunday regular transmission. And the weekday transmission kicks off at 8 a.m. with David Knight, and then, of course, with myself, and then, of course, with Owen Schroyer and Roger Stone, and more shows we're trying to add. But they've attacked us to change the subject and make us defend ourselves. But it's okay, because we're now the center of the free speech attack. And a month ago, I told you we're getting our ass kicked. The worm's starting to turn a little bit because of you. It's like V for Vendetta is an allegory. He's talking to the inspector from the police department. He goes, "Why didn't you do something earlier, V?" And V says, "I was waiting for you, Inspector. I was waiting for you."
As you probably heard, recently many of the biggest tech companies joined in a coordinated effort to censor content from broadcaster Alex Jones.
Because it looks like his website, InfoWars, just lost their war on info. Yesterday, yep.
Apple, Facebook, Spotify, Vimeo, YouTube, Twitter, all of them pulled or froze Jones's accounts on the grounds that his views are too dangerous to be heard publicly.
Oh, it's easy to dismiss concerns about big tech's actions, all coordinated, it seems, to shut down Jones, because, of course, he's the media's poster child for conspiracy theories.
Court hearings will resume today in lawsuits against radio host and conspiracy theorist Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
Infowars.com.
Infowars.
Alex Jones.
From Infowars.
Infowars.
Yeah.
He may be America's best-known conspiracy theorist.
Alex Jones obviously is a well-known conspiracy theorist whose brand is bullying.
Now, I know we're supposed to think that Alex Jones is way more radical than like Bill Maher, Michelle Wolf, or Rosie O'Donnell, but he's got a point of view, and CNN is trying to squelch his point of view.
Did Twitter make mistakes around Alex Jones and Infowars?
At the time, we did not receive reports that we felt we could take any action on that violated on our terms of service. Your colleagues at CNN pointed out a number of them. We took action on one, and then we noticed that all the others, likely because they were made known to Alex Jones and Infowars, were being deleted.
But this isn't about Alex Jones. This is about freedom and our access to information from the sources we as individuals trust and like.
The left, which seeks to crush anything it can't control, applauded the news.
I think Alex Jones is disgusting. I think the things he says are awful. He makes me physically sick. With that being said, he does have the ear of the president, and he has 6 million people that listen to him. And I would like people out there to know that there is a segment of the population that's drawn to this. We have a problem in this country, and I would like him to be exposed.
Alex Jones promotes conspiracy theories and foments hatred of media.
I don't like giving people like Alex Jones a platform.
He's one of those guys who believes Bigfoot was responsible for 9/11.
I heard that on Alex Jones, so it's true.
Yesterday, Apple, Google, Facebook, and Spotify all erased most of the posts and videos on their services from Alex Jones. So, if they're gone, they're out of there.
Why are the most powerful companies in the world suddenly so threatened by an independent radio show host in Texas that they're willing to lose business in order to make him shut up?
For many on the left, the view seems to have become that if you can't beat them, prevent them from speaking.
And Jones is hardly their only target, that's for sure. Virtually every day, the big tech companies censor someone else whose political opinions they disagree with.
Facebook censored our free speech, and shame on the ones that don't even see that we have been censored.
We just got taken down by YouTube. They just killed our stream.
Really?
Yep.
Why?
Community guidelines. Wow.
We can't even show his footage.
Alex Jones, who is not my friend and who tells crazy lies about me, is thrown off Twitter, I think, and Facebook and a few other platforms. I think he's going to...
Thank God!
Well, if you're a liberal, you're supposed to be for free speech. That's free speech for the speech you hate. That's what free speech means.
Our establishment crushes dissent not because our establishment is strong, but because it is weak and afraid.
They're the ones in control, and they're the ultimate censors at universities, the media, everywhere. They're monsters. And now they want you completely banned from all new forms of digital communication.
Elites aren't afraid of what Alex Jones says, Krieger writes. They're terrified that it's popular. Trump didn't divide American society. Alex Jones didn't cause our widespread and, by the way, justified distrust in institutions. Elites did that. Trump's election and Alex Jones's popularity are merely symptoms of a corrupt and failed status quo. People know what's true. They can smell it. You can't stop them from knowing that.
Hey, have you heard? Infowars is getting banned across the internet. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, they're all censoring us. I need you to share these links to the videos and the websites and the stories at Infowars.com immediately. And remember, if you can hear my voice, you are the revolution.
I'm standing in this briefing room right now. There is no government official here, but I'll say that the press is not the enemy of the people. But I'll say that the press is not the enemy of the people. The press is not the enemy of the people. The press is not the enemy of the people.
They came in peace.
Maybe we should go out on Pennsylvania Avenue, like these folks who chant CNN sucks and fake news. Maybe we should go out, all journalists should go out on Pennsylvania Avenue and chant, "We're not the enemy of the people." We're not the enemy of the people. We're not the enemy of the people. We're not the enemy of the people.
This is CNN. Buy my Cortex Quick pills and you will not die! Now available in mixed berry.
Cortex Quick.
Do not believe anyone who says these pills are just spray-painted Mike and Ike. Cortex Quick! Thank God they didn't get the formula or didn't get the jump on us with ultimate female force. My beautiful wife had 3 children one day after she even looked at a bottle of female force. But let me tell you, as Tuck Buckford knows, my cousin, and as I know as well, we came up with the ultimate known herbal formula for your little lady friend. Popeye turns into a badass when he eats spinach. My little lady turns into Godzilla when she takes it. So remember, you can get your ultimate female force today at InfoWarsLife.com or InfoWarsStore.com and tell the mainstream media they can go straight to hell as you fund the First Amendment and unlock the incredible dynamo that is your little lady friend. Whoa! I love it.
Look at that. Everybody else is just like yellow or clear. That's because it's been denatured, it's been watered down. We didn't do that. You think I would metaphysically sell you something that is the very best I can get? I'd rather go to hell than do that. I will only give you the maximum best info, the maximum truth, the maximum product, because I want that goodwill. What I do to you, I do to myself. Don't you get the big secret? You ever seen fish oil look like that? No, you never seen that, have you? And this little jewel right here is solid, liquid consciousness. Look it up. Find out how even the FDA and the government admits fish oil is incredible. The number one thing anybody can do for themselves is take good fish oil or krill oil. Just like our information is dynamite, so are our products, InfoWarsStore.com.